Today we're driving the 2026 Toyota RAV4 Woodland. This is the plug-in hybrid Woodland though, so it makes 324 horsepower. You get 49 miles of EV driving range, combined maybe about 550 miles of range between gasoline and electric. So amazing range, pretty good off-road capability. We have a set of slightly larger all-terrain tires on here, about an inch larger in diameter than the standard RAV4. So that adds about half an inch of lift, giving this 8.6 inches of ground clearance. They look great. These are Dunlop Grand Trek AT 30T tires. They almost look like the Falcon Wild Peaks, but they're not. This is painted in Everest. We have a roof rack, some skid plating underneath, rigid lights up front. Overall, pretty good looking RAV4. We've spent some time in the GR Sport, the Limited, the regular hybrid Woodland, and I'm curious to see how this drives today. We also get a 3,500 pound towing capacity here. Look at that, very good. Lots of standard floor mats, a bit different of an interior with this Woodland package. We do get a compact space saver spare on the back, slightly higher load floor with this plug-in hybrid variant, but not too much of an encroachment upon cargo capacity, which is good. Back seats are spacious. I like the kind of orange bronze seat piping here. This Woodland treatment looks quite good. Roof rails are rated to, I don't think they could really support a rooftop tent. It's like 170 some pounds, but you could throw a mountain bike up there and maybe some cargo storage or something like that. Here's where you plug in. I like the design language of this Woodland too. The front end looks a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more 4Runner-like. Of course, this new RAV4 has been redesigned completely inside and out. We've got a new infotainment, big chunky shifter down here, lots of great storage solutions inside this RAV4 Woodland trim. This is a pre-production vehicle, so you just need to know that not everything here is 100%. Feels pretty tightly bolted together. That was my biggest complaint with the previous generation RAV4, is that it just didn't feel very solid. It felt like it could have used a bit more refinement in terms of NVH and material quality. We see a lot of those improvements here with this new generation of RAV4. I like the materials on the dashboard. The plastics are all matte and nothing too gloss black. We've got lots of physical controls for our drive modes, our all-wheel drive settings. You've got hill descent control, traction control, camera view buttons here. You can scroll around your RAV4, see forward-facing and rear cameras. There's even a wider view for off-roading, which is neat. Look at that. We get to these constant climate control icons down below. Heated seats and heated steering wheel down there. Nice climate menu. For this plug-in hybrid, there is a charge screen too, where you can schedule charge times, set charge limits. You've got this quick access menu up here where you can control your screen brightness. A few other quick access things. There's an onboard dash camera here that uses all the vehicle's camera systems. You can go in, record things, and basically have a dash camera that is only built into the vehicle. No cloud-based stuff like that. You just have a SD card somewhere in here that you can just put in your computer and use the footage. Very useful, very neat. Infotainment screen is really quick to respond. The bass sound system is decent, though the JBL is really where it's at with this new RAV4. We've got wireless CarPlay. Again, just finally a very modern feeling RAV4 that looks good, drives well. Let's go see what this plug-in hybrid is like on the road with 324 horsepower. I just got out of the GR Sport, which feels like a completely different vehicle altogether. The suspension tuning on that is amazing. I don't believe there are any major suspension differences between this Woodland and the regular RAV4s. It's just a bigger, meatier, all-terrain tire, and it rides really well. We had the standard hybrid off-road earlier today, and suspension, damping, rebound control was excellent for a vehicle in this class. I would say class leading. Doesn't quite have the ground clearance of the Subaru Forester or Subaru Outback Wilderness, but it's not far off from even like the Land Cruiser. 8.5 inches of ground clearance here will get you pretty far. And with the fuel economy that this thing gets, high 30s, it's about double what you'd get in a 4Runner or a Land Cruiser, which is pretty amazing. Add in the plug-in hybrid factor, and you've got a really efficient package here. Our battery is depleted today, unfortunately, so there's no way to show you guys what electric driving only mode will be like until we get one of these back home for a loan and get a chance to charge it up. Toyota did get rid of the charge mode with these PHEVs. So it was a system feature that wasn't really used very much by customers. It was pretty inefficient use of power, and they decided to nix it. So we can't really charge up the battery while we're driving today. I have really nice visibility in this new 2026 RAV4. Let's see what power's like. That's impressive. That's really impressive. New steering wheel buttons, new cruise control switchgear, all the driving assistance tech today, and all of the RAV4s that I've driven among pretty much the whole lineup, all the tech has worked great. A little more tire and road noise here in this Woodland with the bigger all-terrains, but still, honestly, depending on your pavement surface, this has pretty good NVH. It's much better than the previous generation RAV4, and these all-terrains actually aren't that loud. There's a bit more wind noise from the roof rails, and I think that's pretty much about it. That's the biggest difference that I'm noticing. All right, let's see how this handles. A little bit of sidewall squish and squirm from these all-terrains, but honestly, the RAV4 handles great in standard form. It's a much more athletic crossover than what we had previously, which was kind of a wallowy mess. This is really well buttoned down on-road. And off-road, I'm pretty impressed with what it can do too. Let's see what drive mode we're in. We're in normal mode. We'll just leave it there. Let's do a quick 0 to 60 here. Just rolling into it. Really strong acceleration off the line. It's pretty incredible what all-terrain tire technology has done in the last decade or so. Granted, these are more highway terrain tires for soft roading instead of hardcore off-roading, but they've got a little bit more thickness and tread to get you through deeper mud or rocks. A little bit extra puncture resistance as well. All good things for your crossover that you want to take to the campsite or off the beaten path, out into a trail. I love that there's just massive amounts of sidewall on these bigger tires, and it's the tire that adds the ground clearance, not the suspension. I think ultimately, if you wanted to do some serious off-roading with this, it's probably got the electronics, it's got the all-wheel drive system tuning to get you through some pretty hairy scenarios. The biggest limiting factor is just going to be ground clearance, and you might just be able to go to the aftermarket for that and still have a pretty nice riding and handling RAV4. But as it sits, you can do quite a bit with 8.5 inches of ground clearance. Remember, that's about what the Land Cruiser has. Though the Land Cruiser does have better approach and departure angles than this, but still, there's a lot to work with here. On-road driving dynamics here are quite good. I'm actually really surprised at how well this handles and drives. It's comfortable, it's soft. Toyota's done a really nice job refining this chassis to just feel like a nice, modern, slightly more luxurious RAV4. This is just a better vehicle to spend time in now. There are fewer shakes and rattles in all the vehicles that we've driven this week. And there's a really nice level of differentiation between the different trims. This Woodland is just cool and rugged and a little bit different from the Limited or the XSE or the XLE. And the GR Sport almost feel like an entirely different vehicle altogether, just because it's so dynamic and engaging and exciting, and it's kind of fast, honestly, around a corner. It's got really high levels of mechanical grip. But you kind of get some of that same excitement factor from this plug-in hybrid just because of the speed. That initial acceleration you get out of this powertrain is very, very impressive. All right, we're pulling up here to this ranch, and we're going to do a quick off-road route. Yeah, so trail mode will relax our traction control just a little bit. You won't have any lights or warning messages up on the dash, but you can feel it going over some looser terrain. There's some kind of loose sand, washout, coarser sand, gravel up here. I'll show you guys what that's like. The first thing we have here is an articulation situation. I'm mostly just surprised at how flat this goes through this type of a situation, being a unibody crossover. So usually there isn't a lot of articulation built into the suspension with these vehicles. We've got our driver rear wheel lifting right now. And very little drama here from the traction control system getting through this. None of that clicking, none of that annoying tendency that you would hear normally from a traction control system. Toyota's done a really nice job quieting down and smoothing out their traction systems in their new vehicles. Not just the new 4Runners and TRD Pros and stuff like that. This RAV4 sees a little bit of that too. Honestly, what I'm most surprised about with this new Woodland is just the ride quality. It's really smooth. We've got some rougher road up ahead a little bit, but it just kind of bulldozes over everything. Maybe it's the extra sidewall from these all-terrains, but the damping, even at full compression and rebound, seems to do a pretty good job controlling body motions. It's comfortable. It's pretty quiet. There isn't a ton of NVH over these rougher roads, even with a bit of washboarding underneath us. It's surprisingly good considering there isn't really a different state of suspension tune with this Woodland trim. It just works. Good grip from these all-terrains too. We've got some features like downhill assist control, stuff like that. Honestly, for the descent up here, it's a little bit too fast for my comfort zone. I don't know if there's a way to adjust the speed of it, so I was just left foot braking. But it's nice to have features like that at your disposal if you want them, and they're just a quick press away. The ergonomics in this cabin are great. Everything is pretty much right within a hand's reach. All the important stuff is right where you need it, and if you want to go deeper in the menus, you can, but you don't really need to on a regular basis. So I was expecting a little bit different ride quality from this plug-in hybrid just with the extra weight, but I think Toyota's done a nice job here. I don't know the numbers on weight difference with this new generation, but I believe the last generation RAV4 Prime was about 300 or 400 pounds heavier than the standard hybrid, and I would assume that's kind of the same case here. Phoenix just had a ton of rain the last few days. So this is probably the first day where we've got a dry off-road course, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
indeed.
Yeah, it's just super well controlled over this terrain. So we'll show you guys what trail mode does here. It just kind of loosens up the traction a little bit, lets you get some slip into the system. And there's a lot more power here with this plug-in hybrid than we had with the standard hybrid all-wheel drive. But I think the big takeaway is Toyota's really done a nice job leveling up with their suspension tuning here with the new RAV4, and in this Woodland, the off-road performance is exceptional. We've driven a few other crossovers in this class, and I don't think they really hold a candle to this in terms of ride quality over rough terrain. Of course, the Subaru Wilderness cars have more ground clearance, maybe a little bit more capability. Camera systems are nice to have too. You've got a few different views. You can see this, kind of an under hood view, and then a forward-facing view. Might stick with that. You can see where our tires are too, with steering angle and everything. You also see grade. Take this line up to the left a little bit. But pretty good visibility out of the front. And then if you can't see something, you can always rely on the cameras. There's a bit of distortion, but once you kind of acclimate to where everything is, you can figure it out. No bumps or scrapes. And then at about 7 to 10 miles an hour, that camera system will turn off, and you'll have to just hit the button again if you want it again. There's a little bit of a compression here. I'll show you guys what suspension does. Nice. The extra torque from this plug-in hybrid is really nice, but honestly, with 236 horsepower and just the standard hybrid RAV4, that's plenty. And with the eCVT, it delivers it so smoothly. You don't really need all that extra power out here. There's just so much sidewall here. I have a good amount of trust in these tires. All right, we'll go over this set of rocks here. Testing the brake over a little bit. Get down into this rut. We'll take a slightly different line on the way down than we did up. And if we want to test hill descent control, we'll just let off. And it'll keep us going down at about 2 or 3 miles an hour. Here's some clicking and whirring from the EBS. Press it again, it'll turn off. Yeah, this class of soft rotor crossover SUV just keeps getting better and better. The way it handles those big undulations, big bumps is really commendable. And then the little stuff, the finer, rougher stuff, I think is mostly soaked up by the sidewall, but the suspension seems to handle it really well too.
Have
cool.
a great dinner tonight.
Hey,
and good
thanks.
Safe travels home.
Yeah, appreciate you riding right seat.
You got it.
All
awesome
right.
job. Yes,
Thank you. We'll see you next time. All right, so impressive stuff off-road in the RAV4 Woodland. That did actually way better than I thought it would, being the plug-in hybrid. It rides about the same as the hybrid powertrain, which is what you want. And really, there's just extra torque, extra power here, EV driving range. I think it's super cool that you could drive this in EV mode off-road. There's just something exciting about that. The only thing I kind of wish they kept is the charge mode, so that if you do roll up to the trail, and you want to drive in electric mode, you could do that. But I guess you'll just have to plan ahead for after you plug this in to put it into hybrid mode so that it doesn't deplete the battery. And then you can use it off-road if you want it. 49 miles of electric driving range is a lot. So that'll probably go a little bit quicker off-road or on the trail. But yeah, really, really impressed with the way this new RAV4 drives. I'm kind of torn now between this Woodland and the GR Sport. The plug-in hybrid variants seem to drive the best. The power, the balance, the dynamics, they just feel that much more complete and more cohesive and exciting, mostly just because of that acceleration. But the powertrain tuning here is really well done. Pretty minimal wind noise here too. I'm not sure if these PHEVs have a bit more sound insulation. It feels like they might. I don't know. It's quiet. I think what Toyota's done here is they've made a really nice baseline for the new RAV4, and then they've added trims that I think would appeal to some very specific niches. If you want something sporty, get the GR Sport. It's freaking awesome. If you want something with a bit more style and adventure, this Woodland trim is fantastic. I'm not exactly sure on options and how you can spec these trims, if you can get ventilated seats and stuff like that, but we've got a heated steering, we've got heated seats. That's probably good enough for most people. Earlier today I spent some time in the Limited. That had all the features. It had digital rear view mirror, panoramic sunroof, ventilated seats, heated seats, the works. But honestly, the standard feature list here is pretty impressive too. And you get the dash cam standard, you get voice activation standard. Hey Toyota, I'm hot.
Okay, increasing the airflow and lowering the temperature.
There you go. You can talk to your Toyota and it'll do things for you. It'll take you places, and it's more conversational instead of having to give it very specific prompts. And it seems to work pretty well so far today. Dynamically, this Woodland trim doesn't seem too sloppy around a corner. It has good mechanical grip. The ride is excellent, as we've discussed ad nauseum. It doesn't seem to be overpowered and under-gripped or under-damped or under-tired. That's what I'm going for, under-tired. Watch this. Almost a 90-degree exit here. Foot to the floor. Tire's going to spin up a little bit, but it's going to put that power down. Traction control is going to figure it all out. And then there we are, 70 miles an hour in no time. That is properly quick. That's impressive. Let's see, where are our driving assistants? Turn stuff off really quickly there. That's good. Easy. Yeah, the user interface here seems more modern and complete from Toyota. Before, the infotainment systems just kind of had a mishmash. There was a lot of settings that were in the center gauge cluster that you could only access while you were parked, or it was a mess. This is all in one place. It's well organized. It's super quick and responsive, and it seems to be very well designed and executed. And everything's worked today too. It hasn't freaked out on me yet, which is a good thing. Okay, there's a quick video on the RAV4 Woodland plug-in hybrid. Really, really like this. This RAV4 was painted in Everest. It looks great. It drives awesome. Highly recommendable in the RAV4 lineup. And yeah, I think that was a good test on and off road. They said have this back by 3, and we're here at 2:58. That's it. Give you guys another look at this Everest color here in the shade. Probably can't see too much with the backlighting, but it looks good.
Yeah.
Here are those rigid lights. Those come on when the headlights are on and the fog lamps are engaged. Just look at all this chunky sidewall. Very nice.